So you want to make sure, proof positive, that narcissists never show up in your life and can never be in your life and will never want to be in your life. I got 3 ways you can do that, and a 4th one I'm going to throw in. You might be able to meet that. Who knows? Let's see what we got. Hey, wonderful people. I'm Frank. I have a lot of experience with narcissists. My mom was a narcissist. I've studied narcissists. I have seen them in the workplace. And now I'm telling people how to recover from narcissism and using my own personal experiences and pains and suffering and successes. So let's get on with it. 3 ways. This is some new stuff that I've never told anybody because some of it's just newly discovered by me. And honestly, I've never heard anybody else saying any of this stuff. So here we go. 1, narcissists like to look for people, okay? They want, their worldview is that they are in this mental battlefield. Everybody's against them, and they have to be offensive or covertly offensive or defensive in order to get what they want, and in order to get people to be sort of a servant to them. I had a discussion where narcissists seem like they are colonialists, kind of like the old colonial powers. They would take over other countries. They would look for weak countries. They would take them over, and then they would set up some kind of slavery system, servants system, like Great Britain did with India, for instance, and take it over and use it for its own purposes. Same thing that narcissists do. Same exact thing. And it might be because a lot of these rulers of these nations were narcissists. I wouldn't doubt it for a second, right? So what does that have to do with anything? Well, you definitely don't want to be targeted by a narcissist, right? Now, they are out there. They're always looking for new servants, and whether it's at work or the home or whatever. So they might see you and think you are a good target for them, and you're going to show them that you are definitely not. So one of the things that narcissists always do is test boundaries. They're always testing boundaries when they want new servants in their circle, because that's going to tell them who is good fodder for servitude to them. Let me explain. And this is how they go about it too. They will overstep boundaries, and that can be like honestly, any form of abuse will work. They will, they might overstep boundaries. They might say something bad about you to family members. They might say something bad about you to your coworkers, or they may report you to a boss. Now, that's the groundwork, and it may be totally valid. Maybe you did something wrong in the company and you needed to be, or you should have been, or whatever. You were wrong, and they did tell it to the boss. That's immaterial, kind of. That is kind of immaterial. It's how you act afterwards that's very interesting to the narcissist to get a new servant. Appeasement. Appeasement is what they're looking for. That when they abuse you in any kind of way, and it may be culturally acceptable, it may be acceptable under the rules of a company or the laws of a country, and it may be even acceptable to you to some degree, and it may be even acceptable altogether. But when you come back with appeasement, that you are okay with that treatment, that is a big green flag for the narcissist that you are possibly a great slave for them to utilize in destroying the world. Yes. Or you're maybe just your world. Right? Appeasement. And let me explain. So at work, there was somebody who was probably a narcissist, right? So this person told on me. Let's just say they told on me and said something about me, and I'm not even sure if it was. No, it wasn't actually bad, but they kind of abused my trust just a little bit. They said something about me. That's immaterial, and it may be okay that they said that. That's okay. That's fine. What happens afterwards is what they're looking for. If they, I don't want to keep using the word abuse, but if they hurt you in some way, and you come back at them with appeasement and niceties and wanting to smooth them over, that is a huge green flag for the narcissist that you are may very well be a very good servant for them, because that's how good servants for them act. They don't act with anger, retribution, or just like anger at them either. They don't see that in servitudes, in their slaves, right? Because they definitely don't want that, right? In their mind, they are at war with the world. They want somebody who's going to put up with their abuse. And if you show them that you will put up with their abuse, you may be a great servant in their life. Okay, so what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to show them anger. Show them you didn't like it. Show them that you're not happy about it, even if it was acceptable. So let's say it was something in a company, you broke something. Let's say you smashed up one of the vehicles, okay? And they told on you, okay? And they didn't tell you that they were going to tell on you. Let's say they were in the parking lot and they saw you back up into something, right? Smash something, and then right, and they ran inside and told the supervisor. They're usually also the narcissists are usually the tattletales because this stuff works for them. Anyway, so you should be angry at them, right? Even if it was okay. You're not happy with them. They are not your friend. They are somebody who could devastate your career there or something like that. They don't have your back. That's okay. Okay? That's okay. That's human. That's natural, right? It's, hey, if a mechanical device doesn't have your back, say you're wearing a baseball cap and it just keeps falling off, you're going to get angry at it and you're going to dispense with it. That's human. That's okay. There's no morals about a baseball cap. And it's the same with people. You're supposed to be angry at them. If I told on somebody and they didn't know it, and I told the boss, this person dented the vehicle. I saw it. I'm sorry. I expect them to be angry at me, right? I expect it because it's human. It's what's acceptable. And narcissists, if you do that with a narcissist, if you show that you are normal and you have normal anger responses, that's a huge red flag for a narcissist. That shows you're not going to be complacent when they start to abuse you, because they're going to step up the abuse and see where you're okay with it. You might as well draw the line right there, have a normal response. I'm not talking to this person anymore, or I'm just angry with them, or I'm not going to be friendly with them anymore. And I've done that with people that may have been narcissists or have narcissistic abilities. I'm not out to diagnose everybody, okay? And it's not necessary to diagnose everybody. If they have narcissistic tendencies, that's enough for me, right? So I have had people that have told stuff, not so much on me or around me, or said some things that changed my work environment, and I let them know that I was not happy with them. Perfectly fine. That is normal human behavior, and they should be okay with it. Okay, so now what's the second red flag that's going to keep narcissists at bay? Know your boundaries, and let the narcissist know that you know your boundaries too. Okay, that's the second thing. Boundaries are like stuff that's not acceptable to you. And usually what we're going to be talking about is stuff that's normal, okay? So the narcissist is narcissists like to be able to run over everybody's boundaries, right? It's kind of like the colonial country. They like to invade other countries and take them over and make them a servitude state. The same thing with the narcissist. They don't want you to have good boundaries. They don't want you. They see it as a threat to them. When people have good boundaries and are in their life, they see it as a threat to them. So when you show that you know good boundaries, that automatically is a threat to them. The fact that you knew that something was overstepped, or in the case that we just went through, that you knew that you didn't like it, and that's your boundary. Fine. Perfectly normal. Show that to the narcissist. That's going to be a huge red flag to the narcissist that they aren't going to like. They're not going to like that at all, because it shows that you have knowledge that there are boundaries that can't be crossed. As strange as it may seem, there are a lot of people in this world that don't know that there are boundaries that cannot be crossed. There are people that will try and put up with anything. And that's what the narcissist is looking for. They're looking for the perpetual appeasers that will bend over backwards to just do what the narcissist says. That's the perfect servitude. That's the perfect narcissistic slave. That's what they want. And these people usually don't know that they have boundaries. They don't know that they can have boundaries even. That's what the narcissist is looking for. Just the fact that you show that you have knowledge of boundaries, you're out of the picture. They will not like you, right? That's my computer. Don't worry about that. I guess my computer has boundary problems too. It said pairing is not happening, right? And that's the same thing for the narcissist. There's no pairing. They cannot pair with you if you have boundaries, because you will rebel. You will say no at some point, and they don't want that. They want people who are never going to say no. Okay, so what's the third thing that's going to repel narcissists? Well, this one may be a little difficult for people, and you can fake it, because the narcissist won't know if it's real or not. Okay, you can express great confidence. Yeah, they don't like people with a lot of confidence. Let me explain. Here's a story. So my mom was diagnosed 3 times clinically as a narcissist. She heard the neighbor, and she was fine with the neighbor. Matter of fact, she liked the neighbor a lot. She actually liked the neighbor. And then she heard the neighbor say, and he wasn't talking to her, he was talking to his wife. I can fix anything with the right tools. Absolutely anything in this world with the right tools. Now, to the normal person, well, that's nice. Maybe we don't even care, right? But to the narcissist, that was triggering. I swear it was. I swear. She mentioned it for like 5 or 6 years after that guy had moved away, right? It grated her nerves so much that he would be the gall, the unmitigated confidence that he would have in himself. He can fix anything. Who does he think he is, right? Right? If you know narcissists, you know that's what they do, right? Yes. And she hated him from that point on. After she heard that, she had went from friendly to the guy to distant and hateful and not going to say anything to him. And like once we got his mail, she got his mail and said, "Oh, this is for him. I'm throwing that in the garbage." Right? What? Just because of the comment, he showed great confidence. Now, why would a narcissist be like this? I got one after this too. Then another good one. This one is going to flip. Yeah, this one is going to. Okay, so, but back to this one. So why is the narcissist so freaked out about great confidence? It's because of the power, and they have self-power and self-agency in themselves. The narcissist doesn't want that. The narcissist wants, again, like the colonial country, they want servile people that will do pretty much everything they say and be confused by them and take to the propaganda they put out and just kind of let them be used. They don't, the person with the huge amount of confidence, that's the person that leads a revolt. So, what's the last thing that you can do to really red flag and get rid of a narcissist? Something that will keep them out of your life forever. Well, it would be to express power, big power. You might not be able to do that, right? You might not be able to do that. Stick with the confidence then. If you show them that you have a lot of confidence, that's going to make them feel small, and that's also going to make them feel at a threat, like you could upset their world, okay? But big power too. So where does this come in contact with a narcissist? Well, it comes in contact with a narcissist when they work 9 to 5 jobs, right? And we almost all work 9 to 5 jobs. Narcissists have very weird relationships with their boss. They have this. No, I wouldn't say love hate. I would say hate and maybe covert love. Right? They need the money. They need to kick the bosses behind, maybe. Right? But they hate the boss. And even if the boss is nice, even if the boss is the nicest boss ever, they will always hate the boss. And there will never be a reason why sometimes, right? And people will say, well, he's the nicest ever. But the narcissist will never have a nice word for that boss because of the power, the disproportionate power that that person plays in their life. There are a lot of power dynamics that a narcissist has going on in their head, and they have to be at the top, because anytime anybody else is at the top, that's going to be a little bit of a threat to them, right? So they're not having that, right? But you have to work a job. You have to. And you have to make that money. So you have to put up with the boss being up here. And when that boss is up there, it grinds that narcissist. It's a pebble in that narcissist's shoe. It's a splinter in their finger forever until that disproportionate, until they leave that job, right? And then the power dynamic is gone. And this is also has something to do with their romantic relationships too. They always want to have a step above the other person. So if it's a woman, right? So you would think the man would be here normally or want to be there normally, and the woman would be here and let him take the lead and all that stuff. But a lot of narcissistic women will put themselves up here. He needs me so much, he can't live without me. That puts them in the power stage, and that's what they like. So if you ever come across a narcissist and you can look large and in charge, they're not going to like that. They're not going to know if your power is real. But if you have confidence, they're going to say, no thanks, I'm not really sure of that person. And going back to knowing boundaries, why a narcissist would see that as a threat, it's because you might say something in front of one of their servants and start a revolution. That's not okay that somebody did that. You might say that in front of one of their servants, and one of their servants may be like, oh, maybe that isn't okay. And then they lose their safety supply servant because you said something, right? So they have threats all over the place. Those are the 3 things you can probably do, right? You can definitely have boundaries, which you definitely should have boundaries, because narcissists will take advantage of you if you don't. Don't do the appeasement thing. If you get hurt by a narcissist or anybody, you have plenty of right to be angry with them, whether it's reasonable or not. You're just going to feel like that. Just do it, right? I had a pair of shoes that just never fit right. I'm not really sure why. I just got angry at them and fed up at them, and I threw them away. That's okay. There's no moral problem with being angry at things that don't work for you. Okay? It's just a biological function. You might not hate them, but you're angry at them. Just that thing. It's too much for a narcissist. They know that you know boundaries and that you're willing to act on them. And if you're willing to act on them around their servants, that might start a revolution, and they definitely don't want that. And confidence you can fake. They don't know the difference. They might smell it out that you're faking it, but they don't really know. They're not willing to take that chance. There are a lot of suckers born every day who will take the bait that the narcissist is putting out, that they can guarantee that they're not going to get into a revolution phase. They want a servant. They don't want somebody who's a little dicey, and maybe they don't want that. Okay, so go out there, people, have a great life, and make sure that these narcissists smell you a million miles away and want to have nothing to do with you. Go out there and live your best lives. We're thriving, people. We're thriving.